If you're keen to feel like you're saving the world every time you go for a drive, then maybe a hybrid is already in your sights. And maybe you should be considering this, the Toyota RAV4 Cruiser two-wheel drive hybrid. It's a 5-seat wagon under $55,000, but is it really a good value for money prospect? Well, that's what we're here to find out, so stick around. The Cruiser is the second from top spec in the RAV4 range, and it's available as a two-wheel drive or all-wheel drive hybrid. This is the two-wheel drive, as I mentioned, and its price tag starts at the $51,000 mark. But remember, that excludes on-road costs. Standard features on board include this 10.5-inch multimedia touchscreen system, and that has Apple CarPlay, Android Auto and SatNav built into it. It also has a JBL sound system, a power tailgate, a sunroof and a whole stack more. The Cruiser has 18-inch gloss black alloy wheels, and exterior paint choices for the body include Glacier White, Eclipse Black and Satin Blue, which is on our test vehicle. But remember, as always, for even more details on this vehicle, make sure you read my full written review at carsguide.com.au. The seats are comfortable and supportive all round, even in the rear seat, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in a second. But in terms of functionality and practicality, everything is easy to find and easy to use. This big screen dominates the dash, and that's a good thing because it's nice and crisp and clear. And there are plenty of storage spaces and plenty of charge points to keep everyone happy. The cabin is neat and tidy, as you'd expect in a Toyota, and there's a real premium look and feel to everything, with leather accents and soft touch surfaces. Fit and finish is reasonable, again as you'd expect in a Toyota, and it's pretty much right for the price. The seats up front are comfortable and supportive, and they are also heated and ventilated, so that should keep everyone up front nice and happy. In terms of functionality, everything is easy to locate and easy to operate, and for storage spaces and charge points, there are plenty of those for everyone. And in the rear seat, it's pretty good news as well. These seats are comfortable and supportive, not as much as up front, obviously, a little bit more of a straight up and down affair, but nonetheless pretty good. I'm behind my driving position and I have a heap of legroom, and as well as that you have plenty of shoulder room and headroom in here. You are also well catered for in terms of directional air vents, and quite impressively, you do have 2 USB-C ports there, so there shouldn't be any arguments in the back about who's charging what. And if you are considering the RAV4 as your family vehicle, it's important to note that there are 3 top tether points on this rear seat, as well as an ISOFIX point on each of the outboard seats, and there is plenty of room for child seats in the back here. The RAV4 has a listed 580 litres of cargo space in the rear boot area. Under the floor is a space saver tyre. There is a bit of a space to the side with a cargo net, and there are 2 tie-down points. If you do fold that rear seat forward though, there is a listed 1,690 litres of cargo space, so that opens that area up a fair bit more. The RAV4 Hybrid has a 2.5 litre petrol engine, an electric motor and a battery pack system to back that up. The engine alone produces 221 newton meters of torque, but the engine and electric motor combination produce 160 kilowatts of power, and that's matched to a CVT, which is a continuously variable transmission. A lot of the problems with those things have been ironed out over the years, and it works pretty well as part of the RAV4 setup. This hybrid RAV4 is a pretty smooth driving vehicle. It's not really dynamic in terms of get up and go from a standing start, or even if you're trying to overtake. The RAV4 is pretty slick how it moves between use of the electric motor and use of the petrol engine. You can't really tell when it's changing from mode to mode. You actually can if you look at the dash, because it shows you as it switches between the various drive modes, E and the motor. There are different selectable drive modes in the RAV4, Eco, Normal and Sport, and those will tweak the transmission and how the vehicle switches between the electric motor and the petrol engine to optimize everything that's in operation at that time and on that surface. The driver dash display is a really interesting feature in the RAV because you can keep an eye on energy usage and your range in terms of from the engine and from the motor itself. Ride and handling is okay. It's probably a little bit too much on the firm side of things for my liking, but it is not atrocious at all. Steering has a nice weight to it, and there's a sensible, composed feeling about the RAV4 all round, and the hybrid system only complements all of that in a real positive way. In terms of noise intrusion from the outside world, the RAV4 handles most things pretty well. There is some wind rush from its big wing mirrors, and you do get some grumble from that petrol engine when you really give it the heavy right foot. But other than that, everything is reasonably well subdued. All in all, there is a lot to like about the RAV4, and in terms of driving on road, it is a real smooth driving experience. It's certainly not perfect, but it does really well with what's at hand. And the hybrid system is the cherry on top. The RAV4 two-wheel drive hybrid has a listed fuel consumption of 4.7 litres per 100 kilometres, and on this test we actually recorded a fuel consumption of 5.9 litres per 100 kilometres. The RAV4 has a 55 litre fuel tank, so with a full tank you should get about 930 kilometres. The RAV4 range has the maximum 5-star ANCAP safety rating, and that's from testing in 2019. Standard features on board include AEB adaptive cruise control, and on the up-spec models like this cruiser variant you also get a 360-degree camera system. The RAV4 has a 5-year unlimited kilometre warranty, and that includes 5 years of cap price servicing. Service intervals are set at every 12 months or 15,000 kilometres, and they average out to be about $260 a session. The Toyota RAV4 and Cruiser Hybrid spec is a sensible, comfortable two-wheel drive family wagon, and it has plenty of standard features on board. Sure, it's not the most dynamic vehicle to drive, but it does have so much in favour for it in terms of practicality and functionality. But what do you reckon? Have your say in the comments section below. And remember, for even more details on this vehicle, make sure you read my full written review at carsguide.com.au.